question from Yanis Salidakis, who asks, does your website allow for customized design, and does it interface with BIM platforms such as Revit with the purpose not just to design, but also to maintain?
Right, yeah, so for non-standard products, we recognize that there's two parts to selecting the right product. There's first is the background information you need to understand the feasibility of the manufacturer, and then to understand their craft, their story, and their process. So at ACE Lab, you do have options to access both the things and to be able to request more information from the manufacturer to fit your design and your project. And then regarding BIM, yeah, we're working on that functionality as well, BIM integration. We'll probably launch that in the next few months. And the goal, again, is right now the drawing list that we make and then the spec sheets we make, they almost exist in isolation. So to have one platform where all of that information, it can be built in and centralized across the different user segments.
Great. Dan Bryan is asking, how often do you update manufacturing specs prices? So just the life cycle of products that show up on your website.
Right. So the pricing function right now is something where the manufacturers have total authority of how do they reply to that, because it can also differ from standard products to the non-standard products. The specs are automated in real time, and that comes from the information that the manufacturers have uploaded. And on the platform, we do reach out to manufacturers from time to time to make sure that the most recent product specs and other information and downloads are available on the platform for architects to look at.
Yeah, and I just want to pick up on some points that the panel made earlier. So we heard Aaron argue for having more structured and detailed data, which would be just generically available. But then again, I also completely hear and agree with Jonah's point that in the end, you also want to maintain those personal relationships. And at some point, you want to talk with someone. So that's why the way we see our product is that we move in different stages. At the first stage, you can shortlist using the library, and you can do that in a generic way. But then from the point that you want to go into detail and ask price quotes and lead times, those are not completely automated. So that's really a one-on-one interaction between you and the manufacturer. But we just facilitate that in a better and smoother interface than what you're used to now doing through emails and phone calls.
Another question from an anonymous attendee. How is, say, window pricing determined? And I think this question kind of goes for probably most of the products. Is it just the actual product, or do you guys provide any install costs as part of that as well?
Yeah, so that also depends on the type of manufacturer. We have some small manufacturers on the platform right now who really work from project to project. So they do take care of the manufacturing, assembly, and then installation. And then some other manufacturers who have more sort of standard solutions. Yeah, so I think the pricing piece, we've also tried to keep that flexible so that it can really be something which is more a conversation than just one hard number. And with all the revisions that you can store on the platform. So as soon as you update your product choices, you can also reach back to the manufacturer to request a new price code and lead times.
I guess I have a question. How have you been making partnerships with, how has that process been going as far as finding manufacturers who are, is this something that you feel, again, going back to Sam's point, that manufacturers feel that is filling a need from their side? Because we've been concentrating very much from the architect side.
Yeah, yeah, happy to answer that, Nick. So since we're early stage and we're really in the phase where we're still researching and developing the solutions, and our goal has been to acquire some initial users who would be interested to solve this problem with us together. Like ultimately, Dries and I are young architects, and we started with Ace Lab as a way of creating impact on the industry. And we've been very fortunate to meet manufacturers exactly like that on the other side of the spectrum as well, where manufacturers who really take a lot of pride in their story and their craft and the type of clients and the projects that they've worked on, they want to make sure that this interaction between them and the architects is transparent and it's clear, and they're able to get across all of the information, the hard data, but at the same time also just share more about their story and how they actually make these building products. So we've really tried to keep that balance, and the way we've been forming the partnerships on the manufacturers and on the architects end is our small size also makes us very flexible. So with manufacturers and architects who join us at this early time, they have the luxury to just reach out to us with any pain point that it may just be them experiencing that, and we'll do our best on the development side to have that integrated on the platform. And the goal there is also, since we're relatively newer in the industry, to just learn more from the feedback of these initial users on both sides of the spectrum.
So I guess related to that, there's a question from Anonymous, is how much does it cost to use your platform? What's the pricing?
Great question. It's free. So we've tried to keep, we've tried to be focused on quality as opposed to quantity. And the simple reason for that is we don't quite have the resources to be to make sure that all the users on the platform, they're able to generate them value essentially. So we're happy to offer this free sign up to all the attendees of this event, and then to other members of AI Brooklyn or AI New York. And that's just our way of learning more from all of you, of the things that you struggle with on a day-to-day basis, and which areas do you want to see more solutions in.
Great. I think that's a great place to leave off. I think it was really a great program tonight. We started with a really kind of big picture look at the industry, then had a great discussion around kind of how, the challenges that your company is addressing. And then it was really exciting to see the demo and understand your products. So happy to, I want to thank everyone for attending, and of course to our panelists. Thank you all.